welcome to the Not Your Average Knits podcast. My name is Kim. This is episode number 13. Today is Saturday, August 19th. Really excited to be back. I have so much to show you all. Hope everyone is having a great summer. If this is the first time you're watching, you can find me on Ravelry. My username is kbridgeo. That's where you can find all of my designs, my own personal designs, as well as all of the projects for everything that I show is on there as well. I keep track of it all on Ravelry. Also, I have a group called Not Your Average Knits where we post threads related to the podcast as well as some of my designs. So definitely go over there and check that out. And then also on Instagram, my username there is Not Your Average Knits. So you can follow me there and kind of see what I'm doing in between when I'm recording podcasts. So thanks again to everyone who is joining, whether you are new or returning. One of the things that is happening right now is the Not Your Average Knits Game of Thrones knit along. Can't believe that next week is the finale. Now, what's crazy? So this whole time, I've been thinking that this is the final season. I think a while back, before they kind of started the season, they had talked about it being the final season. For whatever reason, I've had that in my head this whole entire time. I post something on Twitter about it being the final season, and I get all these responses like, no, there's season 8 next year. I don't know, so I look like an idiot. But I'm excited because I had no clue how they were going to wrap up everything in the last 2 episodes. So something to look forward to, and we'll do another knit along next year during season 8. Anyway, but so for this season, we only have 2 weeks, 2 episodes left. And 1 more week to get all of your projects finished. So I'm going to close the finished objects thread at the end of the day on August 28th. So you have until then to get all of your finished objects in there. If you haven't done one yet and you still have a week, you can do a hat, you can do a pair of socks, something small. All of the information about the knit along is in the group. Basically it's any sort of pattern that has kind of a themed name to it that's Game of Thrones related, or a yarn brand or yarn colorway. Super flexible. We already have some great finished objects in there, a really good variety of things that people are doing. So it's been really fun kind of to see what's been going on. So that's the latest of what's happening there. Next, I guess, is finished objects, and I have a few, which is pretty exciting. So the first one I'm going to show is the Stockholm Scarf or cowl, and this is a free pattern on Ravelry, and I've really, really loved making it, and it went pretty quick. So I am using Knit Pic's Capra DK in the Ciel colorway, and so this is knit. It's meant to be a cowl that you can probably double loop, but it's knit in 2 long pieces and then you seam them together to kind of give the cowl a little more structure. Some of the projects on Ravelry did have some modifications for doing it in the round, but I kind of like the idea of doing 2 pieces. So here are the 2 pieces, 1, 2. So it's a really pretty pattern. It almost looks cabled, but it's not. It's a really kind of neat combination of stitches that gives that cabled look. And it's also reversible. I mean, it looks almost identical on the other side, the same kind of look with the cables. So this is sort of the length of it. So I will be sewing this other one to it, so then the cowl will kind of be, like this. It's this, actually. I left a super long tail so that I could seam. Anyway, so the cowl will be basically this long, so then you'll be able to double loop it. So I'm going to block the pieces separately and then seam them together, and then I'll be done. So I'm pretty excited about it. It went pretty quick. Like I said, it was a great pattern, a pretty easy repeat. I think it was just four rows, and kind of just basic stitches, increase and decrease, and I don't know, I liked it a lot. So I don't remember what needle size I used, probably 7s, but again, that's all on my project page, and it was Knit Pic's Capra DK, and then I love, I really love Capra DK. I've worked with it before. It's so soft. It knits up really quick, really smushy. The colors are really pretty. And you can definitely get it for discounted prices on the website when they're kind of getting rid of different colorways and stuff. So yeah, so that's that. So the Stockholm cowl. Next is the Copenhagen, also a cowl, by Isabel Kramer. And when I showed this last time, I had like this much done of the border. And I actually finished this one before the Stockholm. Like once I kind of got going on this one, I couldn't put it down. Even like the people in my knitting group like hadn't even seen it started, and then pretty much I was done. For this one I used Malabrigo Rios in Comparcita and Sandbank. And I've always been a big fan of Rios as well. I haven't weaved in ends. This is blocked, but I haven't weaved the ends in. I mean, look how pretty. So freaking pretty. What's funny too is that, so I used 2 skeins of each color, although I have a decent amount left, so I didn't use 2 full skeins of each color. But it almost looks, the 2 color portion almost looks kind of gradient, because halfway through is when I started the new color. And then even this portion up here, like you can kind of see like halfway through it gets a little bit lighter of a tan, which is fine. I didn't want to deal with alternating skeins. So it kind of looks intentional. Anyway, I love it. So it's really, really wide, which is nice. I don't know like which end I would wear it, but I mean, it's so big you can almost do like a hood, because it's so wide for people that like hoods. And you can definitely double loop it. You can even pull this part down a little more. So I like it a lot. Super soft, again, love Rios. And not too bad of a pattern either. So like this, the lace section, you just had to pay attention. It wasn't, it's not a beginner maybe for people that haven't done any sort of lace before, but not too difficult. And then this section actually isn't color work. The pattern is created based on just kind of slip stitches and the combinations of that to sort of make that pattern. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you guys this. So what was funny about this was that, so I think this is like 3 or 4 repeats. I think every 2 of, 1, 2, 3, yeah, I think every 2 of these was one section. And when I started the second section, I realized that I screwed up the first. So then I kind of had to figure out instead of ripping back, I sort of figured out how I screwed up, like what rows I repeated by accident or eliminated. And it was crazy. It's on my projects page. Instead of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 5, 7, 8. Like I did something totally weird. But anyway, I repeated that mess up the whole way up so that at least it, looked the same, even though it wasn't correct to pattern. And then the other modification I did, so the bottom section is a huge border rib, and then the top was supposed to be, I think, garter, but I just decided to go back to a rib just because I kind of like that look a little bit better than garter kind of on the edge of a project. So yeah, so that's that. So I really, really love it. I love these 2 colors together. I've been wanting to knit this pattern for a while. Got the yarn from Eat Sleep Knit with kind of the intention to make this. So I love it. And again, it went super quick. Like I said, I barely started when I did the podcast, I think almost 2 weeks ago. So it was a quick one. Then I started a hat binge. I had wanted to use the Knit Picks Felice worsted, which I hadn't used yet. I have a few skeins of it. And so this is, so Knit Picks Felice worsted in rustic. Bad zoom. There we go. So Felice worsted in rustic. And this is the Bankhead hat, which is a free pattern. Look how pretty. So you can see it's kind of mostly stockinette, but then has like a little kind of garter ridge in between, a twisted rib bottom. It's a little big, so the sizing of it, they had a bunch of different sizes with kind of head circumferences, and I picked I think I did an adult large, but it was larger than the circumference I thought it would be for whatever. I mean, I don't know, maybe I knit it loose or whatever, but so I think if I was going to do another one, I would do another one a little bit smaller. But I love it. I love the colors in it. It's so fall. This is actually a little, I don't know if it's blowing out, but it's like teal. Like there's a grayish color, and then this like teal stripe. But I like it a lot. It went super fast. And I really like the Felici worsted. And after this was knit, go to the Knit Picks website. I'm like, I'm going to buy a whole bunch. And of course, there's like 2 colors left, one of which I already have, and the other one that I don't really like much. And who knows when they're coming out with more. The way they are with Felici, they should just have it all the time. Anyway, so I like it a lot. Then this is with, I don't have the tag, but this is Malabrigo worsted, merino worsted, something like that. They're single ply worsted, and this is in the Malanga colorway, which however many episodes ago, I know I showed the yarn when I bought it. And this hat is the Rikke hat, Rikke. Free hat pattern as well, mostly all garter, so you use smaller needles kind of on the band and then bigger needles up above this. I didn't block either hat. I don't think I'm going to, just because the sizes are already a little big and slouchy that I don't want it to stretch too much. And I already kind of like the feel of both of these, so I think they'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, the colors are really pretty. I mean, it doesn't even really do it justice in the camera. So this was kind of fun. So it makes for like a pretty good kind of slouchy hat. So that was fun. I was happy to get kind of a few sort of little objects done. You know, I've been working on kind of bigger projects that have been taking a long time. So going to heavier DK and worsted yarn projects has definitely made me happy. But so that's it for what I have done. So now let me show you what I'm doing, which isn't a lot now that I've finished all of those things. The Stockholm cowl, the first one I showed, actually I just finished it like late last night, I think. And that was kind of one of my other sort of bigger whips. So the first thing I can't show you because it's another secret test knit, but the yarn that I'm using, it's pretty good color. I was afraid it wouldn't show, but so this is, oh, I have the tag. This is Ancient Arts yarn in the blue spruce colorway. So this is their bulky, which is big squeeze, 100% superwash fine merino, 141 yards. So now this was a 115 gram bonus skein. So this was in a yarn box not too long ago. I also ended up buying from Ancient Arts directly after I got this, the same yarn in like a purple, which is actually kind of, I've taken out to work on a project with it. I haven't really decided yet what, but anyway, now that I'm on like a heavy yarn weight kick. Anyway, so the test knit that I'm doing is in this blue spruce Ancient Arts bulky yarn. Can't show it yet. It does have a quick deadline, so I have a feeling it'll probably be released fairly soon. So probably by the next time I podcast, I can show you what it is, which is pretty fun. So I've been working on that one a lot too, because it does have a quick turnaround. Then this whip you've already seen before. So this is, I call it my chroma scarf because it's with Knit Picks chroma. But I think it's the Noro striped scarf by Jared Flood. So last podcast I was here, so I've made a decent amount of progress. This is, I have with me on my commutes, so it's like whenever I have time I do a couple rows. I always just love the way it comes out. So it's Knit Picks chroma worsted. The darker color is just gray, and then the variegated gradient one is, this colorway is lupine. I think I'm actually going to get back to a purple pretty soon, so that's mostly kind of one color, you know, block pattern. So yeah, so again, made a decent amount of progress on this so far from last time, and it is really soft. When I've made these a bunch before, because it's just mostly a 1x1 rib. This is a free pattern also, but when I've blocked it, it's become a lot kind of flatter and stretched out, but I kind of like the bounce that this gives, so I don't think this year I'll block it. Anyway, that's that one. And then finally, I just cast this on late last night. So this pattern is called 400 Meter Sprint, and it's by Susan Ashcroft of Stitch Nerd Designs. And this I am knitting in Valley Yarns Brimfield. Whoops. So it's 70% merino, 30% silk. This colorway is stone blue. It's a very kind of silvery blue gray. And I bought this Valley Yarns is Webs yarn.com. They're kind of homegrown yarn company. And I bought a big bag of this when I went out to the tent sale. This is the yarn that I'd used when the pattern that I designed for Webs was in this Valley Yarns Brimfield. And I just really liked it when I used it, and they're actually discontinuing it. So when I went out to the tent sale, I got 2 bags, 2 different colors, and it's like 10 skeins per bag or something. It's just so nice. It's just really, really smushy. It's, spun in a really interesting way, just kind of like tightly spun and super soft. So anyway, so when I was out there, my friend Bonnie, who was in my knit group with me, she also bought a bunch. So normally so we meet weekly, me and 3 other women for our knit group. Maybe one of these days I'll get them to be on the video, but I doubt it. So normally we kind of know what each other is working on, or we'll, have some yarn and be like, oh, hey, do you have a good pattern for this? Or we'll look up patterns on Ravelry. And so we usually know kind of the projects that everyone's working on. So when we come back every week, it's either, they started the new thing that we talked about the week before, or they've made progress on something they've been working on for a while. So there was one week that my friend Bonnie shows up and she has half of this kind of shawlette scarf kind of project done. We had never seen the pattern before, had never talked about it before, and she was halfway done. So anyway, it's this pattern, the 400 Meter Sprint, and she used the yarn that she got of the Valley Yarns Brimfield when we went to the tent sale. So I'm like, okay, I'm copying you. I'm doing the same pattern in the yarn that I have. So I haven't made much progress yet, but you can just kind of see that it's asymmetrical. Is a mostly kind of garter section, but then the edge is just really, really neat. It's got this kind of diagonal yarn over section and then these little kind of bumps on the edges. When she finished hers, it's really, really pretty. It ends up, being a little bit asymmetrical, where one of the, this end is very much kind of wraps a lot. So when she was done, we were kind of trying to style it on her, different ways that you can wear it. And it's really nice. So anyway, so I'm copying her again in the sort of realm of liking that I don't have to wind yarn. This was a very easy project to just be like, oh, what am I going to do next? Oh, that's what I'm going to do, and just grab the yarn and started knitting. So this is, I'm hoping this will be done by the next podcast. It goes pretty quick, and I've already sort of memorized the repeats. So we'll see what happens. So that is that one. And I think that's it for my whips and what I've done. So next, talk about what I've got. So I talked about a few of these yarns that I said were coming, I think, last time. So the first skein, so I had ordered, I think I showed you, I had ordered Woolen's latest 3-month yarn club. What's going on with sorry, I got out of the shower not too long ago, my hair is kind of flat. So I'd ordered from Woolen's 3-month yarn club. And at the same time, I also ordered another skein, and this is her Boon MCN base 80-10-10 merino, nylon, and cashmere. And I'd never tried that before from her. And this colorway I just loved. So this is called Los Bluejeans is the name of the colorway. And it's just really, really pretty. So it's mostly teals and blues, just that little bit of purple. Love it. So I don't know, I'm gonna probably hoard it for a while. Again, there's so much yarn I've been getting recently, but now that there's all these all the fade patterns and different kind of kits for different patterns, I just know I'll be able to kind of blend it with something for a future project. I just love the purple in there. Anyway, so Boon, I got that. Then I have been looking at a lot of yarns from Suburban Stitcher. Diane, she has a podcast, which I started watching, and she's awesome and fun to watch. Seems super sweet. So hi, Diane, if you're watching. So she dyed this colorway and called it Jon Snow. So I could not get it. And it's so interesting. Did I show this last time? I don't think so. Sorry if I did, but you get to see it again. So it's grays and tans and browns, and then just like mustard yellow just kind of thrown in there. It's so interesting. I mean, you know me, I love a good neutral, but then just like the pop of the yellow. And sorry, am I turning it too much? Anyway, so this is her sock base, 25% merino, 75% merino and 25 nylon. Okay, so I got that one. So again, I don't know what, but I loved it. Then finally, I've been talking about Voolenvine yarns and wanting to get some of hers. So she did an update. I was able to jump right on and refresh the website like crazy because her yarn goes so fast. And this base of hers, I can't even wait to try. So it is her Narwhal base, and it's 70% Blue-Faced Leicester, which I've talked about before. The Friederberg Farms yarn that I have is that, and then I think I have a Leading Man Fiber Arts that's in Blue-Faced Leicester too. Then 20% silk and 10% cashmere, 438 yards. Like, come on. This color is Gothday Cake. Like, I love me some purple. And like mixed with the dark gray and the light gray and then the pink and that like little bit of teal right there. Love it. So I'm so happy I got this. I don't know. This will be something for me for sure. Some sort of shawl. I might pair it with like a more of a solid gray. I think I have a basic gray in my stash of a similar base. Might be a merino silk and cashmere base. I don't know. Right now I'm just gonna keep just looking at it and admiring it. It's funny, it came in the mail. So just to give you a little bit of background too. So my family came to visit this weekend. My husband's actually out of town on a golf trip, his little annual golf trip with a bunch of guys. They go out to Turning Stone Resort in New York and play golf and gamble and have fun. So my sister and my 3 nieces came up and spent the night. My oldest niece is college searching, and my 2 younger nieces are also in high school, so it's good for them to kind of get an early exposure to all of that. So they slept over here. We actually went to a college that I used to work at and did a tour there. And then they commuted into Boston with me the following day. I went to work, and then they went to see Boston University and just kind of check out that campus a little bit. Anyway, so they were over that night, so it was super fun having them all in the apartment with me. And so both days I got a project bag in the mail the first day they were here, and then I got this yarn in the mail the second day. So of course I like taking it up, like, look, don't you think this is pretty? So we were like joking about, doing like a mini podcast with all of them, because of course the teenagers watch lots of podcasts, but they claim they're going to watch mine, but they haven't exactly watched mine yet. So hopefully now, it's probably like a year later and they're finally watching this episode or something right now. Anyway, so they weren't quite as excited about yarn as I was. But anyway. Okay. Then finally, so I watched the Grocery Girls podcast, like many do, and they are so entertaining and just knit some amazing things. So Tracy has been knitting the Veronika cardigan sweater for a while, and I've seen it a bunch of times when she posts on Instagram, and she's shown some progress on the podcasts. And like once it was finished and I saw her wearing it, like it is so my style. I'll put some pictures up here. It's just super slouchy, like big open armholes. You wear it over a shirt, which, you know, I don't tend to like just wear a sweater. I tend to kind of wear something and then have some sweater over. I don't know. And then the fact that it's just kind of constructed more sort of flat with very little seaming and picking up stitches for sleeves and things like that. I just had to try it. So I kind of, you know, she was talking about how it's probably better to be knit in more of a woolly yarn, not as much like a soft, heavy, drapey merino, because it is knit out of worsted or Aran, I think. So, you know, I like soft yarn, so I was debating like what kind of woolier yarn to get, and so I kind of looked at a bunch of different yarns on Ravelry and looked at people's comments to kind of see. So the yarn I decided to get is Blue Sky Fibers wool stock, and it comes in a gazillion colors, and I looked at a bunch of different sites because some sites sell them like larger 150 gram skeins, but then I found that they do sell them at Eat Sleep Knit, and I still had some credit left over with them, and then also of course you earn yardage. Now if I knit a sweater with this yarn, I'll earn, you know, points toward the yarnathon that you guys have heard me talk about multiple times. Anyway, so these are only 50 gram skeins, so I had to buy a lot. But so this is Blue Sky Fibers wool stock, and this colorway, Storm Cloud. So these are 123 yards. This is 50 grams, and it's fine Highland wool. You can really see much of that. So it's a pretty gray. So these are just two of the skeins. And it is pretty soft. Like, I'm excited to kind of see how it knits up. There was someone who would knit the Veronika out of this, and I mean, it looked great. So I'm kind of excited. So I'm fighting the urge. So I guess going into the what's next, I definitely want to knit this sooner than later. But I'm trying to just get a lot more kind of other projects done first. I'm just kind of trying to knit down some of my heavier weight stash and do some things for the craft fair in the fall, which is coming up really quickly. So I'm really trying to hold off. So the fact that I have to skein a bunch of these, I'm kind of is making me good that I'm not working on it just yet. And what's coincidental, well, not I guess coincidental, but so when I looked at this yarn, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I have something from Blue Sky. And a while ago, I think from Webs, I had bought, I forget what it's called, but they sell a hat kit where it's like 12 different colors and you get small mini skeins, and it's like a striped kind of slouchy hat. And I bought it a long time ago and haven't made it yet, but it's with this yarn. So it was funny, after I knew I wanted a gray, and I was debating a few different grays. And then once I realized that I had that hat kit, I'd already ordered this gray, but I went and found all of the minis and then found this gray and was glad. I knew I would like it. It's actually a little darker than what it's showing. But anyway, I'm excited. So I'll make it eventually. I'm going to kind of try and hold off. Then the next sort of what's next, Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expat podcast is doing a Road to Rhinebeck mystery knit along shawl, which starts in, I think, September 1st. So I already purchased the pattern, and she'll send updates when it's ready. It's DK weight, 2 colors. If it was fingering weight, I wouldn't do it. Like with Andrea Mowry's What the Fade mystery knit along coming up, I just don't have the capacity to do a big fingering weight shawl right now. But the fact that Mina's is DK, I definitely wanted to do it. And I have a lot of DK in my stash of different colors, so I've been kind of looking for different ones. Dawned on me, I don't know how. I don't know if I was looking through my own stash or through retail websites or something, just searching DK yarn. But so I have Mrs. Crosby carpet bag. So Mrs. Crosby, if you've ever, I don't know that I've ever talked about their yarns before on the podcast. I was, again, first introduced to them through a yarn box, and just loved their yarn and became obsessed and started buying a bunch of different colors and a bunch of different bases. All of like the names of her bases are sort of travel related. So it's carpet bag. I'm totally blanking now on all of them. Hat box, like it's luggage based. Steamer trunk is one. What's the other one? I don't know, but they're all like luggage, like types of luggage and travel things, which is cute. And sometimes if you order, depending on where you order from, you get like a free luggage tag, like an actual luggage tag in the mail with your yarn, which is cute. Anyway, so I bought these two colors together a long time ago and then just still haven't made anything with them. And they're on retail websites are listed as a light worsted, but I think on Ravelry they actually categorize it as a DK. So anyway, and I literally have two skeins of two colors, which is exactly what you need for the shawl. So it was meant to be. So I've decided this is what I'm doing, and I'm probably caking it up soon. Love them. So this is, again, carpet bag, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% silk. 240 yards in each, and this is vintage port, and it's showing pretty good. It's definitely like a black raspberry-ish, I mean, I guess wine, being called vintage port, it's got sort of like a wine color to it, and this is single ply. Then this one, the colorway is smoky granite, and it's definitely like a grayish, like it's kind of like chestnut brown, but sort of gray. I don't know, I'm not good at describing color, but I love the way these look together. So yeah, so I'm excited that I finally kind of picked a yarn for that, so I'll be ready when the first clue comes out. Now as far as what's next, I've said this a bunch before, and I've showed pictures of these shawls before, the Skino Miss Grace shawl. So last Black Friday, I bought a bunch of kits in a bunch of colors because I had just come off last year's craft fair where people were really interested in them, but like it takes a while to make, so I couldn't make them fast enough. I did a couple on order, but it was a little bit challenging. So anyway, so I bought a bunch of kits because they were on sale for Black Friday, so I need to make some before the craft fair, which is at the end of November. And it takes a few weeks, like even if it's the only thing I'm knitting on, so I need to kind of get to it. But I want everyone's advice about which one I should knit first. In case I only have time to make one, these are two of my favorite color combinations, and I want to know your opinion. So this kind of color, am I this blurry this whole time? Sorry. So this color combination is called cork. So this is two skeins of the main color. So the main color is what ends up being kind of the majority of the border, and then is sort of the color that like alternates stripes throughout the whole pattern. So there's this one, and then the two contrast colors are this kind of tan, which is blowing out a little bit. It's a little bit better. And then this darker brown. So this is choice number one, which is cork, which is very neutral. I think will appeal to a lot of people. I like this one too. Like it's very, this one, there's a lot of kind of nice reds and browns in there. Anyway, so choice one, cork. Choice two, this color combo is called Twilight. So the main color is this one, which is very silvery and then has just kind of dusty blues kind of mixed in there. And then this is the first contrast color, which is sort of that same blue but all over the yarn. And then this really pretty dark navy blue. So this is choice number two, Twilight. So I don't know. Comment below below the podcast. Let me know which one of these you like better, and if there was a shawl made in these colors, which ones you would be drawn to. Like I said, I really hope I can make both of them by November, but I don't know. We'll see. So I want to make one that most people are attracted to. I think that's it. God, how long have I been talking? Only like half hour. Not too shabby. Yeah, that's kind of it. What's been going on with me? I've just been kind of getting a lot of stuff done. Like I said, I want to sort of knit down a lot of heavier weight things, get some stuff done for the craft fair. I have two other skeins of Felice worsted in a couple different colors. I think I might do another hat pattern, and then maybe a pair of fingerless gloves that I think people might like. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff in my general kind of wish list and queue, but I'm trying to at least focus on what I have now. That's it, peeps. So join the Game of Thrones knit along if you haven't already. Interact with me anywhere, Instagram, Ravelry, if you have questions, if you want to share kind of what you're working on. Hope you're all having a great summer. I can't believe it's the end of August already. It's crazy. I mean, I love fall. I'm not someone who enjoys being out in the hot sun. Like, I am good on kind of shady, cloudy days, temperatures of like 65. Like, I don't like it to be too hot. I don't really like the beach. I don't like to swim. So I'm definitely more of a fall girl with, jeans and a sweatshirt or a sweater or whatever. So kind of looking forward to the fall. And I love football season. Obviously, I'm a Patriots fan since I live in New England. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And I also went to grad school at Notre Dame, so those football games are always fun to watch. So the fall is a super exciting time. And Rhinebeck coming up is really exciting as well. Super excited to go to that. Can't wait. Hopefully a lot of you will be there. Can't wait to meet everybody. I'm totally happy with anyone coming up and saying hi. That would be really cool and really awesome to meet all of you who watch. So thanks again for joining. Hope you've had a little bit of fun. Hopefully you're watching and knitting on something right now and getting some time to yourself to work on the crafts that we all love so much. So thanks again, everyone. Until next time, keep on knitting. Bye.